Okay, and we're live.
Hi, welcome to another exciting pirate news. Today, with me, I have Steve over in Arlington and Malt over in Worcester, and of course, I'm coming to you from the Lowell area, guys. And again, my name's Joseph, and I'm the quartermaster for the Massachusetts Pirate Party. And so today, we just really wanted to go a much more relaxed format and just really go into some of the craziness going on with the Trump administration. Steve, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So there's, I think one of the things we're facing is a little bit of a constitutional crisis, or, I guess you could call it, what if the president decided to do civil disobedience, where, he's basically instructing all of his departments not to cooperate with investigations, not to cooperate with requests for documents, and that sort of thing. I think it's going to turn into, it's going to turn into a bit of a showdown. Yeah.
So there was issue. That. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that I wanted to address what Joe brought up before we started, that the recent trip to Ireland included a fairly noxious botch where Trump congratulated Ireland on the construction of a wall, which will be constructed if Brexit fails. Not yet constructed, but a bit of a sore point. There was a little bit of a civil war. I think they called it the Troubles.
Yes.
For a few decades. So honestly, one of the worst things for me was seeing that his fear of stairs drove our president to meet with the president of a fairly staunch ally up until now in an airport bar that just happened to be a convenient drive to, what was it, one of his golfing properties?
Well, yeah, he was trying to promote one of his properties by having the meeting there.
Yeah, and this is just another example in a long line of Trump enriching himself with the office, and this is what he was like. This is why he ran for office in the first place. Is he wants to be richer than he wants to be as rich as he pretends to be. He wants to be as famous as he thinks he is. And how long are we going to tolerate this shit? We've got foreign dignitaries buying month-long stays in Trump properties, trying to influence him to go to war with a foreign sovereign power that is now a threat because of his utter abolishment of all of the diplomatic successes that Obama had made, driven by Trump's lunatic hatred. Unfounded lunatic hatred of the only decent president that we have had yet in my lifetime. Fuck him, basically.
Well, there's also the fact that, with the war going on, the war that happened in order to make this whole border an issue for Brexit, and then him to just so intensely, even the first minute of conversation, just completely botched that one. Not awkward whatsoever.
Honestly, I hope that his endorsement of the whole Brexit scenario is the poison pill that convinces Britain to turn back on that whole looming catastrophe. It's obvious now that Trump and Brexit are both the brainchild of the Russian intelligence operation designed to undermine Western democracy. Russia wanted to inflate America as a threat and destroy the European Union in order to facilitate a closer a closer alliance with China. And if Russia can cede additional ethno-nationalist leaders like they've got going on in I forget which, but they're propping up ethno-nationalists across the globe, just like America used to do with right-wing totalitarians in South America, and we have no defense against it whatsoever.
Hmm.
I'm cranky this
there was
morning.
other going on too. Well, there were some other things going on too, like the tax returns that we still don't have.
Yep. And I think people under Trump are willing to go to jail rather than release those documents because they think they will get pardoned. And I think Trump thinks he can pardon them. So we're at this issue where we can't prosecute him unless he's out of office, and we can't get him out of office in order to prosecute him. And we aren't doing enough to defend our systems of elections to know that we will be able to vote him out. It's absolutely the will of the people. But I don't know if our elections infrastructure is secure enough that we can actually trust the outcome to just voting.
So that being said, hopefully we haven't damaged our relationship too much with England or too much with Ireland that it can't be repaired by good diplomacy by some of the front line guys, some of our ambassadors and things of that nature.
I mean, relationships can be repaired. It's just a matter of, it takes time.
Yeah, it takes time.
And careful negotiation. I mean, strong arming China probably wasn't the smartest idea because now we have a plastic bracelet. You make them eat shit and find out that they can throw it right back at us. Surprise, surprise. So, that being said, so hopefully this damage that we're going through, we can start to mend and repair. Let's focus on something a little bit more local. Hey, Steve, what's going on in Arlington?
Well, it's actually been a really exciting week. So we had a special election on June 11th, and there were two questions on our ballot. One was whether to allow the town to borrow the money to rebuild Arlington High School. And the second question was whether we would allow the town to increase its operating budget more than 2.5%. So just a little bit of a backstory. Arlington High was, built in pieces from 1914 or so up through the 80s. The building is in rough shape. I mean, it is in really rough shape, and the Massachusetts School Building Association has put us on notice and put our accreditation on notice because it's in such a rough shape. So back in the 70s, the town made an effort to rebuild the high school. It was approved by town meeting and voted down by the voters twice. And what ended up happening was, a little bit of additions, a little bit of renovation, but not really addressing some of the structural deficiencies of the building itself. The kind of Band-Aid patch it over approach cost more than the new building would have. So we've been kind of operating with a deficient high school for the last 40 years. And this year, the question was, can we finally replace it? So the vote to replace passed by, I think, with 70% voting yes, which was, this is great. We're getting a new high school. The other issue was the operating override. So Arlington is going through a bit of a demographic shift where we've had a 40% increase in school enrollment over the last 10 years.
Damn.
And and I mean, I have to give our town management a lot of credit for being able to, they've held us with, our last override was in 2011, and despite that enrollment growth, they've kind of kept us, in budgetarily in the green since then. But, with that many kids and that much of a need for teachers, and especially for things like special education and special needs students, giving fair treatment to them, you run into a limit where it just doesn't fit in Proposition 2.5 any longer. So that was question number 2. That passed with, I think, a 68% voting in the affirmative. It was one of the higher turnouts I've ever seen for a local election, something like 40%.
That's awesome.
Usually we're on the order of 5 or 10%. So I feel really good about the outcome.
But just to put it in perspective, we in law have also had huge increases to our student population, and year after year we've had to go before the city hall and have them actually look at having the city itself pay for all the overages time and time again. So I mean, for them to accomplish that is actually significant.
Yeah.
And it's important to realize that charter schools are not the answer here. What charter schools do is they just add an additional layer of like middle management, in this case, just extracting value in the form of exorbitant salaries. Frankly, the pay disparity between teachers and administration is galling, and if we've never checked it out, I definitely suggest folks look into that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as charter schools, I'm against the charter school idea, because what you're doing is just creating a whole new school to deal with the same headaches that the school system has. And then you're giving to kids who were not even working in the normal system. We should incorporate such things into the normal school systems to make our school systems more robust, not the other way around.
Agreed.
Yeah, there are some charter schools that can throw decent stats about grade point average or student achievement, but we have to remember that these schools are able to basically pick and choose the brightest pupils from any given area. So of course they're going to be doing better than the public schools that don't have the ability to play demographic favoritism.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, if they really want to be just throwing money around, we could always bring back Special Olympics.
Oh, geez, yeah. Betsy DeVos, her tenure has been a crime against humanity. And I think that the families disadvantaged by her decisions should be able to take her to court for them.
At least make it a class action lawsuit. Get the ball rolling on that.
I mean, the United States...
Well, gentlemen, do I go ahead, Malt?
I was going to say that the United States government recently made the legal argument that children are not entitled to a livable climate. So...
that doesn't seem like it's going to end well.
We'll find out, won't we?
I guess so.
So if you out there in viewerland wants to run for public office, please, for the love of God, do
run
so.
for public office.
We can't.
Back to you, Joseph.
National level, we are. We just need to be a webmaster. So hopefully we're looking to really rise our panel as a whole. And I still need to get on and finish forming the pack for the national committee. I've been.
Since we're losing Joseph, I'll try to summarize what I think he might be saying. I know with the United States Pirate Party, they've just brought on a new webmaster who's got some plans for the like doing a lot of outreach improvements and that sort of thing. And there are also talks of forming a national pack that could potentially help pirate parties in the individual states.
Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say.
Ah, good.
And All right. So unfortunately, it looks like I am losing signal here. So I will have to bid you guys a good day, and I wish the best of you.
All right. Well, thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Malt.
It was lovely seeing you all again today. Fight the power.
Definitely like and subscribe, and share this video. Thank you.
And don't trust the police.